wrestling world, and I know what that surprise is. And I know what he's got to do to get it. And I heard him also talking about tonight in Nassau with Kendo Nagasaki. That is going to be the whole thing that depends on the surprise that you have for him. I also heard him saying something about knowing every hole in the book. Well, he's about down to the last chapter as far as I'm concerned. There's not much left of that book.
All right, Sir Oliver Humperdinck. Ooh. The Ninja catching him again.
I also heard Mr. Colt alluding to the fact at the beginning of the program today about Sullivan and Hayes being seen driving north on Highway 75.
Yep.
Absolutely. I understand they were just running out of town after a match with the Fabulous Ones, and they were just, what you might say, hauling out of town.
Hey, let me tell you something, Buddy Colt. They might be gone, but they're certainly not going to be forgotten. And the Fabulous Ones, if they think they're going to do that to anybody else around here, you know, there's more artillery that I have at my disposal, you know. The Nightmares, have you ever heard of the Nightmares?
I have indeed. You mean to tell me you're responsible for,
Hey, let's not get too personal here now. This is just strictly a business conversation. I don't want to divulge anything right now, but I want the Fabulous Ones to know one thing. That when I came out here a couple weeks ago and I told everybody that we were going to go to New Orleans and they were not, I was serious then, I'm serious now. We're going to be the ones going to New Orleans, and the Fabulous Ones are going to be the ones getting hurt.
Well, Sir Oliver, I'd like to say something in your behalf. I was at Baloney's Pub just last night out in Town and Country talking to Greg Montoni, and he feels that you're the greatest wrestling manager ever.
Heavyweight wrestling champion, Tyree Pride. You've seen those moves just as that Graham Mural. He pulled out on you recently, too.
Well, Coach, you're talking about action. I'm telling you tonight, there will be a lot of action over there in Nassau. There'll be a bunkhouse match between Barry Windham. I'm going to be there. I mean, the whole of a lot of them stars going to be over there, Coach. And like you said, this Jim Backlund, Coach, I can tell you one thing, that I wrestled him a few times, and I tell you, this kid is really good. And you could see for yourself right now in the ring, these guys won't let anything pass him, no matter what your size is or how many pounds you weigh more than him. He's going down to business.
Well, nice leg pick up there by young Jim Backlund, and now ties up the left leg of Jack Towers. And in the recent match that you had with Jim Backlund, I thought it was one of the finest matches I've seen in the professional ring in many years. Both men about the same weight, same speed, and agility and ability. I saw moves in there I haven't seen for a long time, and it was a great match to see, Tyree.
Yes, I appreciate it very much, Coach. When you talk about action, Coach, right now Jim Backlund is proving to everybody wrestling is not big man's game. The name is wrestling, and that's exactly what he's doing right now, Coach.
Well, speaking of wrestling, you know, down in the Sarasota area, which was the birthplace of amateur wrestling in the state of Florida, quite recently, Ron Jones, the high school coach at Sarasota High School, had 2 state champions, Cam Holland, Bob Finney, the first 2 in the history of the school. And right in that area, the Sarasota and Manatee County area, we also had Ricky Gullett, Terry Chow, and Doug Schick win state title. So we know what wrestling's all about down in that Sarasota Manatee area, and I'm sure they're going to see what wrestling's all about tonight in Nassau when not only I will be there, but of course the big man himself, Gordon Soley's going to be there.
You know, Coach, I just want to ask you something. Just coming back out, isn't this kid here, Backlund, wasn't he a Florida State wrestling champion for 2 or 3 years? And
he certainly was. He's one of the outstanding men boys ever produced over there. I shouldn't call him Joey Gray. It could be a good match as far as Jack Towers is concerned, because I'm sure he may be in for a wrestling lesson. I know very little about Jack Towers. Appears to be about 6'1" at a weight of 232, 33 pounds. Going up against the man who's coming on strong in the world of professional wrestling, the man in the dark trunks, Jerry Gray. And Jerry Gray teaching Jack Towers some lessons about getting out of the corner in time as he applies chops to Towers. Arm drag whips him into the far turnbuckle. However, Towers got out of the corner just in time as Gray went charging in, injuring that left shoulder, and Towers showing some ring savvy by attacking the very spot that was injured by missing Towers in the corner and hitting his arm on that turnbuckle. The Tide and TV waits for no one, so we decided to go ahead with a match between the Florida Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Kendall Windham, and Jack Towers. And right now, an arm stretch and twist by Kendall Windham on the young Towers, and I'm sure he feels the pain in the upper deltoid.
Coach Stan, there's a situation here. You notice Kendall Windham doesn't have his belt.
he won the title back. The young man's done everything anybody could ask in terms of proving that he's a champion. But Humperdinck had some film. It was shown on another program that when Kendall Windham won the belt back, Humperdinck's trying to cause safe foul that the Ninja should have been disqualified and thereby retain his belt. So right now it's sort of a pending situation, but the NWA said Kendall Windham should. They didn't order him to. They said he should give up the belt. Kendall replied, and he said, if the Ninja and/or Humperdinck, of course, he's out of the picture now, I think, but if the Ninja wants the belt back, he's going to have to come and take it. And I have to admit, coming from somebody else, it might sound like bravado or something along that line, but the young man has proven himself 4 or 5 different times.
Well, I thought he was all through that series of difficulties and obstacles. It's kind of a surprise me, because the last time I saw him, of course, on television here, he was the champion, and I'm glad you corrected me on that, Bob.
Well, for all practical purposes, folks, there hasn't been any orders yet. But in terms of signing contracts, the money values assigned to contracts between championship matches and non-championship matches, that's creating a little bit of a hassle right now. But the wrestling promotion, I think, is going to take a direct hand on this one. The NWA can't be on the scene for a lot of these things, and those films sometimes takes weeks to process, and there's always talks about doctoring them up and that sort of thing. So I think maybe the promotion itself is going to take a stand in this and determine what's going to happen. Again, at the moment, it's pending.
And Stan, that's what I mean by a strong single leg dive, just shown in there by Kendall Windham, getting Mike Masters down on that mat. And now he has a figure 4 lock on the lower leg of Mike Masters and has him, as we say in the world of wrestling, in prison.
Well, you've mentioned it before, Coach, and we've seen this young man, Kendall Windham. He's come on very strong. He's got such a fire in him, determination, and he's going up against a bigger man, a man with larger thighs, and he's going after the extremities that right now that Jack Towers hasn't been going after.
Well, the taller you are, the harder it is to protect that lower extremity. There was a power wing over, exhibited by Kendall Windham into an outside bar lock. Different than a spin under, because the spin under uses the off balance or the oncoming weight of your opponent, whereas that was a power wing over. As I'm sure the man, Bob Roop, is very familiar with.
Well, this is a dangerous match for Kendall Windham. I'll tell you why. I'm watching it here. This Jack Towers is left-handed for one thing, and he looks a bit clumsy out there.